This is my Minn Kota maxxum. It's a 74-pound thrust trolling motor. And I had a problem where all of a sudden it just stopped steering. It's got the foot control. It's cable driven. You can see the cables there. But it stopped steering, and I already, as you can see, took a lot of it apart trying to diagnose what the problem was. And as it turned out, there's this gear, it's called the pinion/race, because it sits down in there, and the bearings ride on this here, right? So it drives it, plus it holds the shaft in place. And what happened was the two screws, there's a screw on either side of this that match up to the holes in the shaft, and they came out. And you can see how it's kind of torn up there pretty badly. And they fell down in between here, the inner tube and this outer tube. This is the inner shaft that just goes up. I don't know if you can see up in there, but anyway, this is just a hollow tube. And those screws were stuck down in here, and it was causing it to jam up, and it was hard to steer. And obviously, because the screws were out of there, I couldn't steer it. So I ended up, you can see, took it all apart, trying to figure it out before I was filming this. So I'm going to have to get a couple screws, put all this back together, and then I'll try and show a little better about how it all works and goes together. So here's a little closer look. I found some screws to put into the, come on, focus, for the pinion gear here. Attaches it back to the main shaft, and I was able to slide this shaft back up inside there. I had to use a piece of rope as a kind of a fish tape to hook to these to pull up on as I fed it up through there. So I've got it kind of propped up right now just to hold it up in place while I screwed in this pinion gear. So now I'm going to I'll put some grease on these bearings, set this back down there, and try and get these gears all meshed back up. So this is the bottom bearing that'll come up here and fit up into that larger tube there. I'll have to do that with two hands, but that goes up in there. And then here's the locking collar that'll lock it all up into place with these two Allen head screws to lock that up in place, and should get everything set back to where it should be. So here's another look at the top inside the head of the motor, and you can see the bearings down there where that, and then the pinion/race is what fits in there. I showed you I replaced the screws, and then this black piece is the part for the cable where it pulls and pushes the cable, and it's splined to fit the top of that pinion gear. You can see the silver part down in there is the pinion gear. So that sits down on top of there, and then that meshes obviously with this gear and with this gear to turn this, which is the arrow, the direction arrow inside the top. So it, you know, for your direction arrow pointer. But yeah, so it's all back together, and well, other than I got to put the cap back on here obviously, but the steering, it's all fixed up and should be ready.